Open your task manager right now. I'll wait. And look for a process called Compet-Telrunner, because while you've been watching the first 10 seconds of this video, it has already sent 3 reports to Microsoft about what's on your screen. It is not alone. There are 4 specific services running in the background of your Windows 11 machine that most people have never opened Task Manager long enough to see, and Microsoft quietly expanded 2 of them in the 25H2 rollout. Your system isn't just collecting data at the surface level anymore. It is profiling how you work, what you click, and when you hesitate. Let me show you exactly what's happening on your screen in real time. Start with the most important one. Press Ctrl-Shift. Escape. Click the Details tab and sort by name. You'll find Compet-Telrunner.exe. Microsoft's own documentation lists this as Microsoft Compatibility Telemetry, and its job is to gather information about the applications you run and the drivers you have installed, then transmit that data to Microsoft servers for what they call compatibility analysis. It runs on a schedule you did not set. It activates during idle time. And on a fresh Windows 11 install, it is enabled by default on every single edition: Home, Pro, Enterprise, Education. Right below it, or sometimes above it, depending on your sort order, you'll see a service listed as Connected User Experiences and Telemetry. In services.msc, that's the old service manager, which I'll show you how to open in a minute, it shows up with a short name of DiagTrack. This is the engine. Compet-Telrunner is one of its messengers, but DiagTrack itself is the orchestrator, the service that decides what gets sent, when, and how often. And in 2026, tech journalists at Beta News confirmed that Microsoft added new performance telemetry streams tied to Windows 11 25H2, specifically around what the company called sluggish performance detection. In plain language, that means your operating system is now building behavioral logs of when your computer feels slow and what you were doing at the time. Then there's dmwapush service. That name is deliberately impossible to remember, and I suspect that's part of the design. It stands for Device Management Wireless Application Protocol, push notification service. What it actually does is allow Microsoft to push management commands down to your device, messages you didn't ask for, settings, changes you didn't approve. It was originally built for enterprise device management, but it's enabled on consumer home editions too. And finally, if you're on a Copilot Plus PC, the new class of machines with an NPU, a neural processing unit, there's a 4th process I want you to search for. It's tied to Recall, the feature Microsoft delayed twice and then rolled back out in 2025. Recall takes a screenshot of your screen every few seconds and processes it locally on the NPU, building what Microsoft calls a photographic memory of your activity. Think about what that sentence actually means. Every document you had open, every password you typed before the field masked it, every message you opened and closed quickly hoping nobody saw it, all of it indexed, searchable, and sitting in a database on your own hard drive. Microsoft insists the data stays on the device. But Kevin Beaumont, a former Microsoft security researcher who has spent the last 2 years publicly documenting this feature, demonstrated in 2024 that the Recall database was readable by any process running at user level, with no strong encryption in front of it. That is like storing every private photo you have ever taken in a shared folder and hoping nobody else on the system goes looking. So what do you actually see in Task Manager? You see 4 entries that don't look alarming. They look like system plumbing. But stack them together, and you're looking at a pipeline that monitors which apps you open, how your hardware performs under load, which settings Microsoft wants to change remotely, and on newer machines, a visual record of everything that's ever been on your screen. That is not a privacy policy. That is an infrastructure. The UK's Information Commissioner's Office publicly raised concerns about Recall's rollout in 2024 and stated they were engaging with Microsoft on the matter. Independent audits by Germany's Federal Office for Information Security, known as the BSI, have flagged Windows telemetry in successive reports as collecting more than the minimum necessary for system operation. And test labs in Austria have repeatedly noted that even after users disable optional diagnostic data in the Settings app, required diagnostic data continues flowing out of the system. And the definition of required is entirely Microsoft's call. Think about what that means for you. Your resume drafts, your private messages, your banking windows, your therapy notes, all of it is potentially within reach of a system you did not consciously consent to. And the worst part is, most of this was never advertised. You didn't click, I agree to Compet-Telrunner. You clicked accept on an 80-page license agreement that most of us have never read. But here's what really bothers me about this. Microsoft doesn't collect this data because they're bored. They collect it because every pattern of behavior on your machine is now training fuel for a Copilot model they are selling to enterprise clients for roughly $30 to $60 a seat per month. The business model has shifted. Windows used to be a product you bought. Now it's a feeder system for an AI business that generates revenue orders of magnitude higher than a one-time license fee. When Microsoft announced Copilot integration, they said it was about productivity. When they announced Recall, they said it was about helping you find what you've seen before. When they expanded telemetry in 25v2, they said it was about performance improvements. Every single announcement uses the language of user benefit. But if you follow the money, and financial analysts at Bloomberg and Reuters have been writing about this shift for 2 years now, what you see is a company whose fastest growing revenue segment is Azure and AI services, both of which depend on massive training corpora, both of which benefit directly from observational data about how humans actually use computers. It's like building a highway through a neighborhood, charging a toll to drive on it, then also selling maps of everyone's commute to advertisers. The user pays twice, once for the license, once with their behavior. And unlike the highway, there's no visible toll booth. The extraction happens in the background at millisecond intervals through processes with boring names and a task manager tab most people never open. Stay with me here because this next part is crucial. A lot of what I'm describing is technically legal under Microsoft's current terms of service, and Microsoft has gotten very good at framing it as either optional or necessary. Their defense boils down to 2 claims. If it's optional, you could have turned it off, and if it's necessary, you need it for security. But the reality in Windows 11 Home, the edition most consumers actually have, is that some of these switches simply don't exist. The Group Policy Editor, the tool that actually lets you shut this down properly, is not available on Home. The registry tweaks work, but only if you know they exist and are comfortable editing system values. And that is the part that really bothers me. This is not a level playing field. The privacy-conscious customer gets the same operating system as the technical novice, but only one of them has the tools to defend themselves. Paid enterprise customers can deploy group policy across their fleet and lock telemetry down to 0. Home users can toggle off 3 checkboxes and call it a day. The default, in other words, favors the people being observed least. When I started digging into this a few months back, I wanted to know what an individual user, not an enterprise, not a sysadmin, just someone who owns a computer, could actually do. The answer turns out to be more than Microsoft advertises, less than you would get on a different operating system, but enough to meaningfully take your data footprint down by roughly 80%. If you have felt like something was off, every time you updated Windows and new settings appeared you did not remember agreeing to, you were right to feel that way. So what can you actually do about this? Let me show you. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to click, in what order, starting inside the task manager you already have open. By the end of this section, you'll have cut the outbound telemetry from your PC by roughly 80% without breaking a single thing you actually use. 4 layers. Start to finish, about 15 to 20 minutes. No payment, no download, unless you want to add the optional 4th tool at the end. Layer 1 is the Settings App Audit. This is the surface level cleanup, and it's where almost everyone should start. Press Windows+I to open Settings. Navigate to Privacy and Security. You'll see a long list on the left-hand panel. Click Diagnostics and Feedback first. Turn off Send Optional Diagnostic Data. Turn off Improve Inking and Typing. Turn off Tailored Experiences. Then scroll down and click Delete Diagnostic Data. That button purges what Microsoft has already collected from this machine. Cost, $0. Time, about 3 minutes. What it breaks? Nothing. Not Windows Update, not Defender, not any app you actually use. Still in Privacy and Security, click General. Turn off. Let apps show me personalized ads by using my advertising ID. Turn off. Let websites show me locally relevant content. Turn off. Let Windows improve. Start and search results. Go back one menu and click Speech, Inking, and Typing Personalization. If you don't use voice commands, turn off online speech recognition. Go back again and click Activity History. Turn off Store My Activity History on this device. Click Clear History. Back once more. Click Search Permissions. Under Cloud Content Search, turn off both Microsoft Account and Work or School Account. These are the advertising and cloud sync surfaces, and shutting them off cuts a significant volume of outbound traffic. Layer 2 is services.msc, the old service manager. Press Windows+R, type services.msc, press Enter. Scroll down to Connected User Experiences and Telemetry, right-click it. Click Properties. Under Startup Type, change it from Automatic to Disabled. Click Stop. Click Apply. Click OK. Now find DM Wapush service in the same list and do the exact same thing. Disabled, Stop, Apply, OK. These 2 services are the backbone of the telemetry pipeline, and disabling them at the service level is far more effective than toggling settings in the UI, because the UI toggles sometimes get quietly reset during major feature updates. Here's the pro tip for this layer. After a major Windows update, Microsoft sometimes re-enables these services without notification, which means this is not a one-time job. Set yourself a reminder to recheck services.msc every time you install a quality update or a version upgrade. It takes 30 seconds and it catches the quiet reversions. Layer 3 is the group policy and registry layer. If you have Windows 11 Pro, Enterprise, or Education, press Windows plus R. Type gpedit.msc, press Enter. Navigate to Computer Configuration, then Administrative Templates, then Windows Components, then Data Collection and Preview Builds. Double-click Allow Diagnostic Data. Set it to Enabled. In the drop-down, select Diagnostic Data Off. This is the deepest lever you have inside Windows to shut down telemetry at the system policy level. If you're on Windows 11 Home, gpedit does not exist by default. You'll use the registry instead. Press Windows plus R, type regedit, press Enter, click Yes on the UAC prompt, navigate to HKEY local machine, then Software, then Policies, then Microsoft, then Windows, then Data Collection. If the data collection key isn't there, right-click Windows and create it. Inside, create a new DORD 32-bit value named Allow Telemetry and set its data to 0. Restart. This performs the same function as the group policy, but through a lower-level mechanism. Fair warning, registry edits should be done carefully. Create a system restore point before you start. If you're not comfortable with regedit, skip this layer and trust that the first 2 layers have already done the bulk of the work. Layer 4 is optional, and it's the verification tool. O and O shut up 10. ++ is a free utility from a German software company that presents every Windows privacy setting as a single toggle in one interface, with their recommendation clearly labeled. Download it directly from the O and O software website. Do not use third-party mirror sites. Run the executable, click Actions, then apply only recommended settings. It will show you every setting that will change before it commits anything. Review the list, click Yes. The whole thing takes about 2 minutes. What this layer buys you is not a new capability, it's verification. Every setting the tool changes is one you could have changed manually, but Shut-Up-10 catches the ones most people miss, and it tells you in plain English what each one does. So that's 4 layers: Settings Audit, Services Disabled, Group Policy or Registry, and the Verification Pass. Do all 4 and your telemetry footprint on Windows 11 drops dramatically. Cost, $0 versus the $60 per year that some privacy suites charge. Total time, roughly 15 to 20 minutes. Now the disclaimer, because this matters. If you're on a work computer managed by your employer's IT department, do not apply any of this. Their group policy will revert it, and you may flag yourself to your security team. If you use Windows Hello, family account sharing, or cloud backup features, some of these settings will disable those. Test each change and turn specific ones back on if you need them. If you rely on Windows Update for Business or delivery optimization, the telemetry off setting may affect how updates behave. This is about reducing data collection, not about disabling security features. Keep Windows Defender on, keep Smart Screen on, keep automatic updates on. Those are your defenders, not your surveillance. And before you go, there's one more thing I want to leave you with. Here's what nobody at Microsoft's marketing department wants you to internalize. The machine sitting in front of you belongs to you, not to a telemetry pipeline, and the fact that you had to hunt through 4 settings menus to prove that is itself the problem. A computer in 2026 should not be a rental agreement you didn't read. It should be a tool you own that does what you tell it, that stops doing things when you say stop. That is not extremism. That is what the word personal and personal computer used to mean. You are not paranoid for caring about this. You are attentive. The behavior we just walked through, the background services, the telemetry streams, the settings buried 4 menus deep, is not hidden because it's unimportant. It's buried because most people won't go looking, and that is precisely the design. But you did go looking. You opened Task Manager. You spent 15 minutes walking through layers most users never touch. You are now in a small minority of Windows users who actually configure their own machine, and that minority is growing every month. Think about the last time you talked to a friend about their computer. A few years ago, nobody cared about telemetry. Today, the conversation comes up at dinner tables and group chats and comments under videos exactly like this one. There are communities, forums, entire software projects built around the same impulse you just acted on. You're not alone in caring about this, and the more of us there are, the harder this kind of default becomes to sustain. This is the direction things are moving, whether Microsoft leads or resists. Users are waking up to what default settings actually mean. Regulators in the EU and the UK are asking harder questions. Alternative operating systems are getting genuinely usable for non-technical people. The next 5 years will not look like the last 5, and you are early to the shift, not late to it. If this breakdown helped you understand what was actually running on your machine, do me one favor. Hit subscribe, because I cover these issues the moment they are discovered. not weeks later when the mainstream tech press finally catches up. And drop a comment letting me know which of the 4 layers gave you the biggest surprise when you opened the services list or the registry. I read every single one. This is a conversation, not a broadcast. Your machine, your terms. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.